Guys, welcome back to Kind of Funny's Mulan in Review. That's right. We are ranking and reviewing the original Mulan from 1998 and
wrong graphic.
Live action Mulan from
Studio Ghibli.
2020. As always,
also
I'm Tim
muted.
Gettys, joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Hey, everybody.
Oh man, it's so
was
close.
he muted, or did he just not make a sound when he did
I don't
that
know. I'd like to
action?
believe that
No,
it was
I-
so annoying. He's at his wit's end. Ladies and gentlemen, he's had a lot of problems today, so give Kevin a break. But he's at his wit's end. I just like to believe it broke when he was like,
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No, I was muted. I definitely made a
Okay.
loud noise here
There's no way that Kevin can do that kind of action
and not have a
without
sound
noise.
emit my body.
I would be very, I'd be very afraid of what that would do to Kevin's body if he did that action without the sound
He
coming
just
out. of it.
Nick,
internalized
Nick,
all
I
of
don't know
that
if we've ever
energy.
talked about this, but like you've heard me sneeze, right?
I'm sure at some point in our history, in our
It's
storied
very
history
loud.
together, yeah.
It's very loud. It's very violent. What happens if I try to hold that in is I've had the back of my throat
out the
cut
other
by
end.
the pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
I would
It
imagine it
sucks.
just backs up
By
and
the
comes right at us and a little toot. Poot.
No. God, that's- Also, my body doesn't make that sound. It's way more violent than that too.
Hold on. I just love also that Nick didn't even commit to his own thing of just like let out a little toot. Poot. Oh, Nick Scarpino. I love you. He's
having a
joining
good
us
time.
here.
We're having a good time today.
Exactly.
Amy, guys,
Some
I'm
of
sorry. I
us.
don't know what's going on with that. I might have to restart, but I think we'll be fine.
And joining us once again here on her second ever appearance on In Review, Joey
right.
Noel.
Hello.
Noel.
Hey, Joe.
Exciting times for everyone. Today we are talking about Mulan 2020. This here show is Kind of Funny in Review. Every Tuesday and Friday we do the show, different franchises. Starting next Tuesday, we are doing Batman in Review, starting with Batman 1966. Very exciting stuff. Then on Fridays, we're continuing Miyazaki in Review for the next couple weeks. I think we have 3 left. After that, Lord knows. Stay tuned. At the final Miyazaki movie, we will announce what we're doing after that. You can watch this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, or you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. If you want to listen to it, guess what? We give you that option too. Search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Reviews, and we'll be right there for you. If you want to get the show ad-free, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, just like Muhammad and Al Tribesman did. Patreon producers, the men, the myth, the legends. I will make men out of them.
Wow.
Today we're talking about Mulan 2020, released on September 4th, 2020.
Actually, you know what? Hold on.
AKA
Just-
today. Go for it, Andy. What's up?
I just really want to go back to because I feel like it's a new era, and once Al the Predator tries in, once his series ended, he had the series finale last year. I don't know if you heard,
Mhm.
but now I like the idea of a new sitcom called Momo and Al.
Or can I reverse it? Al and the Momo?
Nope.
The Momo. You're adding a
Yeah.
the to it.
Al and the Momo.
Remember
What's
the
the premise
Al
for
Momo. Remember the Al Momo.
Al Momos almost pooted myself when I held in a
Oh,
sneeze.
Oh my lord. So now we got Kiki and Putin.
Somebody pooted.
Let's just forget my idea. Forget my idea. Let's just go.
Yeah, let's just move on to talk about Mulan 2020, released September 4th, 2020, which is today. One of the rare cases, actually probably the only time in review history that we are reviewing the movie on the day that it came out, which is exciting to me at least. The original premiere was held on March 9th, 2020.
Wait, we used to do that all the time on
Yeah,
Friday
but that
night.
wasn't in
Yeah,
review.
you're
That was
crazy.
just a
Wasn't
reaction.
in
show.
review. That was KF Reacts,
Idiot.
Andy. Things
Idiot.
changed.
You made the graphics.
Did we not do it for MCU in review proper?
Yeah, I could have. We
For
did.
Infinity
we
War?
definitely did.
We
We for
wait,
sure
no.
did.
We did it for Captain Marvel.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh man.
Hey, you know what,
did a
guys?
bunch.
I'm
Every
a
day.
fucking asshole.
Every
Just go with that, okay? I try my hardest to come here with the facts.
This is the
Sometimes
first
they're
time-
true,
This
sometimes
is the
they're
first
not.
time on youtube.com/kindoffunny we've ever reviewed a movie. Prove me wrong.
You'd be fucking wrong. This is the first time for a fact that we're reviewing a Mulan movie. So here we go.
I'll tell you what, it is the first time we're reviewing a movie like 15 minutes after it came out. Because I was checking at midnight last night, and then Disney Plus like borked, and then I checked again at like 1 o'clock. It still wasn't there. When did this movie actually drop on like Pacific time?
Midnight. I got it at midnight.
Was
Was
it? I
it?
couldn't get it.
Really?
Really? I got a notification at 10 a.m. this morning that it just dropped.
I got it at midnight. I bought
Are
it
you
last night.
fucking kidding me, dude? I would have like gladly watched it at midnight last
Me too.
night. I
Me
was like
too.
trying, and it was 1:30. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to bed.
Now,
Oh, that's
Tim,
weird.
did you buy it or were you able to watch it? Like, did you start it?
I bought it and then I just skimmed through to
He's
test
such
it.
a liar. He's fucking lying, guys.
No, I did this because we have.
it's gonna
This
be
is
better.
like
group
when
account.
Andy caught you in a lie. Remember?
5 seconds ago.
He did
Yeah.
just catch me in a lie. This is not a lie. No, this is not a
remember
lie.
that.
There's a difference between a lie
Go on,
and
Andy.
an attempted truth. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Andy caught me in an attempted truth.
It's true.
That ended up being false.
Tim,
But
I was
this-
right there
this-
with you. There were a lot of facts to back your statements up.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
not
you.
all
But
of them, you
And
know?
I appreciate you, Kevin. You were right there for me. But no, for this last night, because this is a new frontier, ladies and gentlemen. Where I'm getting at is this movie's coming out September 4th, 2020. The Hollywood premiere was March 9th, 2020. It was supposed to come out, I think.
4 times.
I think it was supposed to come out in theaters March 23rd. So the premiere happened literally days before everything went on lockdown.
Yeah.
So the world fucking changed, and Mulan was always and has always been the first movie on that line of like, when's it actually going to come? What is actually going to happen here, right? And so now we have it. So with that, this Disney premiere service, I'm sure everyone watching now understands this, but in the future, if you're watching and things have gotten better, maybe things have changed and you won't even understand what the hell you're like. Coronavirus, what could that possibly be? And if you're one of those people, what is
You
happening
think they're
here
gonna
is
collectively gonna
Disney-
forget?
maybe, we don't know. Men in Black
Like they're gonna. Oh, I was just gonna say that.
beat you to it, Joe. Beat you to
Like
it. But
when
my
they're on
point
the
that I'm
same
trying to make here is that the Disney premiere is a new frontier. Disney Plus, you pay the subscription fee. You have to pay an extra $30 to get Disney Premiere to get this movie a couple months early to be able to watch it, right?
I
So
read a headline
because
that
of-
implied that it was next month.
It's December 4th that it comes
December.
out for everyone. Jay-Z's birthday. Never fucking forget.
Absolutely, 12/4.
But here's the deal. What I'm getting at here is because this is the first time we've ever done this, I wanted to make sure it would work. So last night, I did watch parts of it because I bought it. And then I went into each user account to make sure that we could all watch it. And I loaded it up on multiple screens to make sure 2 people in our one account could watch it once.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you?
And you can.
Is there a Disney shared account that I'm?
Well, it's not shared, but like I have an account that I share with Nick and Greg.
Huh.
And then there's one guest. So we gave that to Andy today.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Here it comes.
It was on
Here
the
it comes.
Slack, Kevin.
Here
Did
it
you not see
comes.
the Slack?
I don't have a Slack.
Oh wow.
You do have a Slack,
Kevin-
where I gave you the fucking login, you fuck nugget. Anyways,
Yes.
this movie was directed by. Wait, did you just bring some Studio Ghibli into this, Nick?
What's that? No. I was just I was
said
waiting
there
for
it is.
the
I got a
storm
graphic
that
for
was
that.
coming
If you
from
want,
Kevin.
we could switch over. There it is.
Kevin,
Is that
Ghibli,
Nick?
Ghibli,
Switch
Ghibli me.
over.
Kimmy
Looks
Gibbler
great.
me. There it
Looks
is.
great.
There it is.
Kev. Looks great.
It's cool. He's
all
got
of
his
those
eyes
out.
because he doesn't want to see any lies. You know.
Got
Yeah,
it.
no lies here, even though I'm giving them all. But Nick, can you give me a little bit of the no face?
Oh,
Oh no.
wait.
No,
I'm sorry.
no.
Did you want no face or did you want the spirit, the forest spirit?
I wanted no
I-
face, but I'm
Oh,
happy
you want no
gave me
face?
the- yeah.
I apologize.
I want to move on.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Directed by Niki Caro. Her 2002 film Whale Rider was critically praised and won a number of awards at international film festivals. Have you guys seen Whale Rider or
That
heard of
sounds
it?
sick though. That sounds awesome.
It does sound pretty
It's a dope
cool,
name.
but I'm unfamiliar with it. She also did The Zookeeper's Wife in 2017.
Never heard of that.
That I'm
heard-
familiar with.
Are you sure you're not
Was it
thinking of the?
We
was
bought a zoo.
another-
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
we
a
bought a
different-
zoo.
No,
Yeah.
the
Is that with
Zookeeper's
Mark
Wife, I
Wahlberg?
think,
There's
was
the
about-
Time Traveler's Wife and We Bought a Zoo.
Matt
This is a
Damon.
separate movie.
Matt Damon.
the Zookeeper's Wife, I think, was about Nazi occupied like Austria or something like that.
Oh,
It was
I
supposed to be a
think you're
pretty intense
right.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like with more sexual tension, right?
I hope so. I hope every movie's
Or
got
is
more.
that
I mean, we
something-
watched. What's that? I've never seen The Time Traveler's Wife, but I have to imagine it's just pure smut.
Nick, the astronaut's wife is pure
I don't
smut.
remember.
Is it? How many? I don't know. We've lost the narrative thread of this
Well, it's
joke.
not pure smut. There's
I don't
just
know
a
where
very
we're
graphic
going
sex scene
anymore.
that I didn't
Do
understand.
you know
when
that
I was
Jessica
young.
Chastain is in The Zookeeper's Wife?
She
Yeah, I think
sure
she was
is.
the lead, right?
know
Joey, read us this plot
the
synopsis.
titular
for this.
character.
Nick, just to be clear, this is not the movie I thought. I don't know about the,
The
sexual
time
this
is
movie.
Oh my God, Joe, your microphone.
1939,
Jesus.
and the palace is Poland, home of Antonia something. I don't know. It's not very exciting.
We gotta adjust Joey's gain after this.
No. She's good. You have her volume up higher. I'm sure of it because she sounds great in my ears.
Yeah, she sounds fine
really?
to me.
Yeah.
You're
Right click
Oh,
on
holy
her and
fuck,
see-
I do.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I got
I
it.
do.
No worries. I know your problems, bro.
I had it up to like
What
180.
fucking show is this? God damn, we are off the rails. She was hired as the director of Mulan, which makes it the second Disney film with a female director with a budget of over $100 million. Following, who wants to take a guess?
Aladdin,
It was fairly recent.
Lion King,
Female directed
Star Wars.
Frozen 2.
No,
Joey,
shut up.
you're-
I know it.
I missed the question. Tim, what's the question again?
What was the first female director with a budget of over $100 million to direct a Disney movie?
I had the question wrong. Is it
It
old
was
or new?
based on a book.
To direct a
Jungle
Disney
Book.
movie.
Harry
No.
Potter.
Jungle Book.
What? That's the
That's
Jungle
a
Book's a
question.
book.
Yeah, but
The Tale of Mowgli.
answer-
Come on, guys.
it's A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That
That
I
movie.
couldn't remember
That
if that was
movie
a
was.
Canada
That
version.
movie was terrible. That's one of the worst movies I've seen in the last year.
I didn't see it.
Mhm.
I heard it
I
was
didn't
not
either.
great though.
You watched
It
it
has
in the
Oprah
last
in it, though.
year?
She's dope.
What?
You watched it in the last year?
I meant the movie that I watched last year. One of the worst movies I saw last year. Joey, what was the worst movie we watched last year?
About Milan. You guys don't
It
know
was
Milan?
downsizing.
Yeah, Jesus
It was
Christ.
very bad. Oh,
music
last year?
music by Harry Gregson Williams, who, Andy, you might recognize as the man that did the score for Metal Gear Solid 2 through 4.
Oh my god, no way.
Oh.
That's sick as hell, dude.
It really
Now
is.
there were a lot of moments in this where there were some certain music cues, two of them, that I either thought wanted to go into, and I remember, because there was like some synth in some parts, and then there's some other music cues that I wanted to go, it's a circle of life, and there was like two of those music cues. So next time you watch this movie, if anybody hasn't watched it yet, listen out for those, and you'll know when they hit. You'll know when they hit because you'll hear a synth, and it'll be like, "Oh shit, here comes Phil
Here we
Collins."
go.
Well, I think they actually took some original themes from the musical or the music
Oh,
from the
for
first.
sure.
They for sure did.
Oh,
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
100%.
Some of them
Yeah.
were used well.
I feel you, Andy. Like, I couldn't pinpoint it exactly like that, but there were moments where I was like, oh, this melody is leading into something that I'm unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the I remember song.
No,
that I
yeah,
didn't
no.
remember.
Fucking Phil
ironically.
Collins. I can feel it. Like I could have sworn it was gonna
It's just
happen
like,
several
did
times.
you guys catch that part halfway through where Susu Studio started playing?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that part.
Sorry, that's a very obscure Phil Collins joke. Tim, please move on. And,
Cool,
Kevin,
cool,
please cut that
cool.
stupid joke out of this. This is, you guys deserve
There's
better.
no
than
way to
I'm
do
sorry.
that.
A
You guys
budget
deserve better.
of $200 million and a box
Oh,
office
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Zero.
of LOL Disney Plus. We'll see. Hey, this
I
is
mean,
an
that's
experiment,
exciting. Yeah.
man.
Because the thing
They
is,
got
if
$30 for all of us to watch it.
if it does well, we're gonna hear a lot about the numbers, and if it doesn't, we're never gonna hear about the numbers, and we're gonna be like, it was clearly a failure.
Yeah, so we'll see. This is potentially a game changer, but we'll have to wait and see. A runtime of an hour and 55 minutes. That's all the facts I got for you because there's not much. Although, actually, there's two little fun cameos and facts. Kevin actually pointed this one out. You wanna tell the people, Kev?
The voice of Mulan is in this.
Yeah, she's at the end.
Yeah, Ming-Na Wen is the end.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my weird criticisms that I had. I was like, why was she not? And then this is no disrespect to Rosalind Chow because I'm watching Deep Space Nine right now and she's fucking awesome on it. But I was like, why would they not cast Ming-Na Wen as the mother?
Mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said that
why
too.
would they just disrespect her that badly and be like, you're just going to come in as a random cameo at the end? Unless
Yeah,
she was like,
just-
I don't want to do it again. But
Do you
might
think that
have
she was
well-
ready to relinquish the role and just?
Well, I
wanted,
think it
like,
would have been a
little
nice
taste?
passing of the torch, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
you sort of see that all the time with sort of like, I mean, stupidly, the only thing that's really popping into my mind right now is Smallville, where the mom played Lana Lang in Superman 3 or something like that. But like you see this all the time where it's like, let's bring her back as a nod to everyone that grew up with this and remembers her and give her a little bit more of a prominent role.
But also
not
fucking
just
like,
like a-
she still got it. Like it's not
Yeah.
like we're asking a much older actor to come back, and maybe they don't really quite have it anymore. Maybe their spirit isn't in it, and maybe they're a little bit
Hey,
older.
dude,
their line
we already
delivery
talked. We already talked about Bill and Ted 3. Okay, let's not.
No, but like the thing is, Ming Na Wen is like
Is that an
still
Alex Winter
awesome.
jokes? Because that's too far.
No,
Like,
that was a
he's trying
Keanu
to-
joke. Keanu
It's
was a
not
little
a-
subdued.
we
Alex
all
Winter
know
crushed
Keanu
it.
still has it. Like he has
Sorry.
it
Dude,
more
I
now than he ever did. That's why it must have been
That's
Alex
true.
Winter's
I would've
jokes,
loved-
which is just
I
mean.
would've loved
Maybe he was
Ming
talking
Na
about
Wen
Martin
to
Lawrence.
be I would have loved her to be the villain. That would have been
That would've been
awesome.
Oh, that would have been dope.
No,
That
that
would've
would have
been- that
upset
would've been
me.
awesome.
I didn't like the villain's story in this, and it would have
Hold
hurt.
on, before we get to that, let's stay on the factor real quick. I actually liked that she wasn't the mom. I liked that she was the character that kind of gave, because like we're talking about like
brief
passing the
introduction?
torch and shit. Yeah, she gave the like introduction to Mulan the badass. The mom in this movie wasn't really that great or supportive of her, and kind of sucked. So it's like I actually liked how they did this, where it, and
could see that.
especially it just being like, here's the moment that was the passing of the torch.
Yeah, maybe.
right,
I mean,
though.
and
The
that's
mom
probably
really
why
sucked.
they did it. They were probably like, hey, we don't want to draw too much attention to that. And the mom does, unfortunately, have to be an antagonist. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I just would have liked to have seen her have slightly more of a prominent role in this, just because I think that would have been. I mean, I just like her as an actress, and I think
She's
she would've
badass,
done great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I-
awesome.
I do think that they're.
But I mean, again, no disrespect to Rosalind Chow.
I do think also, as soon as she spoke, I was like, oh shit, because like obviously her face is familiar because I've seen a lot of. She's Agents of Shield, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mandalorian.
She was.
I saw her and I was like, I know that person. And as soon as she spoke, I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's Mulan's voice. Like I feel like
Yeah.
her voice hasn't changed much.
And the
No.
other fun little fact that I have for you guys is, did you guys watch the credits at all?
No, I was. By the time I got to the end of this movie, I was like, "That's enough Mulan forever for me.
You turned
I
off
don't
the
need any
thing.
more Mulan."
So there was a song from a new Christina Aguilera song called "Loyal, Brave, True" that was playing, but then later a Reflection played, but it was the Chinese version, sang by
Oh.
Mulan
Christina
herself.
Aguilera.
in
I
this
was about
movie.
to say that. Oh,
The woman
Yeah.
that did the voice for Mulan.
no,
the
Mulan,
actor.
the actor.
Of Mulan
Oh,
in
really?
this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
is she a
cool.
pop star?
No, but I
she's
mean,
about to be.
actually, I don't know. She might be, but anyways, yeah, she did.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
Pretty cool.
It's dope.
Pretty cool. Because it sounded great. I was like that when I read this, I was like, oh, that's pretty surprising actually. But anyways,
let's get to how we feel about this movie.
I'll let
Are
you
we
start.
Are we
Andy.
doing
Go for
spoilers
it.
or no spoilers? Is there like a spoiler-free zone here for happening?
Oh,
For
that's
the-
interesting. We haven't done this. In
That
a
is
while,
it.
huh?
That is interesting.
So no spoilers.
Okay.
Surface
spoilers.
level.
No spoilers.
5
Yeah, no
minutes of how
spoilers.
we feel without spoilers.
Super
Yeah,
super
Andy,
fast. I won't
go.
even be 5 minutes. These remakes continue to kind of be disappointing for me. I kind of also forgot Lion King came out at one point. like all of these just feel I don't know. The first 15 minutes of this movie felt and just looked really really bad. Like awful cuts and weird acting and the little girl on the roof. Oh, no spoilers. Sorry. No spoilers.
Well,
Um,
some of the
I-
action was poorly done in the first part.
it's just another sort of example of like this is something I didn't need, and I'm always happy whenever we're given like, oh, they're remaking this, and you know what? I didn't need it, but I kind of liked it. Here, I just like felt it just really served no purpose for me.
Yeah.
This movie, and especially because the animated movie, so much of the charm comes from these really really fun characters and awesome musical bits, and the fun of the characters was like barely there, but without the musical bits, I'm just out, man. Like it just took me out of it. I think the movie picked up and got a little bit more interesting towards the end of it, but for a lot of this, I just felt like this is kind of a drag. I'm not super digging it right now.
Yeah, I was kind of the same mind where I just feel like if you're going to read, this is a continual criticism I have of all these live action remakes, which I'm like, if you're going to do it, you have a great opportunity to further it. And this one doesn't seem like it elevated the material at all. And anyway, in a couple ways, it kind of feels like a step back. And we'll get into that when we start getting into the nitty gritty. But I never thought I'd say this, Tim. And if you guys are recording this, please delete this from the archives. This is just for the four of us that are sitting here. I missed the music in this, because the music was fun, like the singing, the actual songs, that was fun, and it lended itself to a better tone that when shit got serious, it was a nice juxtaposition. Whereas in this, it's just sort of like, we've seen this story before. obviously, because we just watched Mulan last week. It's not, they don't really do anything new in this material that draws me back to it. So I feel like I'm watching the same movie over again, but without the fun factor of Eddie Murphy overacting or some of the music coming out, and like we're seeing some of the artistry behind the animators, and actually kind of utilizing the medium to tell a story that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Whereas in this one, live action, it seems like a lot of the action was just kind of, some of the action was good, by the way. Some of it was cool. Some of the choreography
I thought the final sequences were really bad.
That was kind of cool. But some of the other stuff felt like wire work that we'd seen in, like, we've seen this stuff before. We've seen it a bunch of times. If you're familiar with anything that's come out of Chinese filmmaking, if you're like, perfect example, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like that does it better because that uses the wire work and some of that action to sort of elevate what's happening in the character's development. And this just doesn't feel like it ever gets there.
Joey, what do you think?
I I think this is my favorite, quote unquote, out of the new live action ones. I really haven't liked pretty much any of them other than Cinderella. I agree that not having the music is a bummer. I think the way that they weave in some of those musical notes is a cool nod, but I feel like not having the music and not having the like really fun side characters does kind of make this a flatter and like more serious experience. That being said, I think that some of the story beats that they changed with Mulan herself make her a stronger and like a more modern character than they did in the cartoon. So I really liked that part of it. Overall, like, I didn't dislike it. Like, I enjoyed watching it. But I feel like I'm in the minority on that one.
What about you, Kev?
I kind of feel like these movies are being made for an audience that is like specifically us, like people that grew up watching these movies and now are older, and I just don't know what they are missing, but like there's just something in it that like it just doesn't do a good job in my opinion. So I thought the movie was very okay and has some weird like technical issues where it's like someone fucked up on the cutting board, and it feels wrong, like there's a serious moment where suddenly something happens and it's like there's no way that person could get from point A to point B and move this, like, it just seems like the movie, it's funny because it's like it's been on hold for so long, but it seemed like, I don't know, they needed to cook it a little bit longer.
Well, it wasn't on hold.
Huh?
They didn't do anything with, like, they didn't change it since it premiered.
No, I know. But I'm saying on hold as in like they were about to release it and then they stopped and it was just sitting in a a storage room somewhere. I just kind of feel like
it's just a sad little movie sitting over in a storage room someplace.
Just a little SD card sitting somewhere.
Exactly.
Like a little
dusting shelf.
Like I don't know. It just feels like these movies are like they all are missing something, and maybe it's the nostalgia that we have for them, but I just feel like the changes they make I don't super love. I don't know. The movie was okay. It's nowhere near as enjoyable.
Yeah, I guess
the original.
I guess I'm pretty indifferent to the changes that they made story beat wise. Like I kind of dug there's a moment towards the end where you go, oh, that's the reason why this person did that, and it's kind of like a cool revelation, but it doesn't add enough to the movie for me to be like, this is something that I definitely need to rewatch. I just don't think it holds a candle to the original.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm in a very different place than you guys, I think, with this. Just in the sense that I think this is a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. And I think that when I'm looking at all of the live action remakes, I can appreciate what each of them are doing. Like Lion King was purposefully a shot for shot remake, trying to make it look real, and it accomplished that. And if you're not trying to vibe with that, it's not for you. The original's there for you. This one to me is more in line with Beauty and the Beast, but I think it takes it even farther, where Beauty and the Beast was like, hey, we're going to take this movie that everyone loves, but we're going to try to make the plot make a little bit more sense. Because a real issue with a lot of these classic Disney movies, for as amazing as they are, we never say they're amazing for the plots. It's amazing for character. It's amazing for music. It's amazing for animation. It's not amazing for plot. And I think that the changes they made to Beauty and the Beast, for the most part, enhanced the movie. I don't think that they nailed the landing on that. There were some things plot-wise that they really fucked up that they added that I was like, well, you fucked that up. I think this movie, plot-wise, is vastly superior to the original one. And I think that they drastically changed Mulan's character from the get-go. Last week, we kind of argued, Nick, about what Mulan's place in this world is.
Yeah.
This Mulan is way more in line with the Mulan that you were portraying.
Yeah.
And I think they committed to that hard. And what I like about this movie is I think it was paced extremely well, that there was a moment where I was like, man, we have a lot of this movie left. Like the twists and turns that we expect to come from the 1998 version happen at different times. And the moments that Mulan goes through of character change happen at a time that is a bit more realistic and a bit more kind of built into her character. And with that, again, I'm not saying it's perfect, because the witch stuff was way too far for me. I didn't like that character at all.
Yeah.
And
Spoiler,
all of the plot,
an unnecessary character, by the way. Just didn't.
She was in the
that
trailers,
yeah.
But I didn't like that stuff at all. And I get what they were going for, but I think they missed the mark for sure. But I do think that start to finish, this being a plot about Mulan and her character and the decisions made and the way that the people around her act, I enjoyed it. And I thought the action was, for the most part, well done. Again, with the exception of the witch. I did not like the witch. Anytime she's doing anything, going too far. Anytime that the other characters are doing things, I really like the choreography. I really like the way that they're moving. All the horse riding, swords and arrows and all that stuff, I thought really, really worked. And by the time we got to the end of the movie, I was like, wow, this actually told the story a lot better than the original did.
Yeah, I think they made an attempt to fix some of the holes, and obviously they fleshed this out a lot more because it's a half hour longer than the original. And I think they really did try to tell a little bit more of a story and have a little bit more of an understanding of who these characters were. And at first I was like, oh, great, we're seeing a character who is rebellious. Actually, I don't want to. Are we going into spoilers? Can we go into spoilers?
Let's. As of now, we are going into spoilers. Leave if you want.
Spoiler time! Graphic pops.
What happened there?
Yeah, I liked at first. I was like, oh, this is awesome, right? Mulan is definitely different. She does not want to, this character is like, I don't want to be what these people are telling me to be. I know I should want to be that, but all of my actions are speaking opposite. Whereas, right, there was that nebulous where we argued last week, Tim, where, you know, I was like, I got the read that she doesn't want to be at this matchmaker, but you were like, no, she does. She just doesn't know how to do it because she hasn't discovered that she should do something else. And I think those are both very viable and very valuable. The one thing that I really felt, and I do like that they fixed sort of the ending, where my big criticism last week was when I was like, 6 Hun soldiers are going off to fight the entire army, but with the inclusion of these sort of superpowers they have now, that kind of makes more sense. Where you're like, okay, there's a little bit more danger now because they have a witch and this guy's badass. There was like 18, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
And I do like that you have a bigger sense of the scale of the battles, and we get to see those, and I think that was a good use of the budget. However, the inclusion of the harnessing of the chi as being sort of a superpower, I thought was terribly handled. And in that, like, her whole journey should have been her learning how to do that, because she's been held back the entire time of not knowing, because her father said, don't do it. I would have liked to have seen her having to train more, and then finally at the very, very, very end, realizing that everything she's learned up to the climax is what's going to allow her to beat Jason Scott Lee's character. But unfortunately in this, she sort of starts off super powerful, and then by about 25 minutes in, she's just like, or 30 minutes in, she's like, I'm just going to be a badass. And then she's just a badass the rest of the time. And to me, that really kind of helps. It makes the character arc suffer because of that.
Yeah,
because by
I agree.
basically about 30 minutes in, I was like, she is very confident. She does not care anymore what's going on. All she has to do is hide. But then she never gets found out. She chooses to tell them. And that was a choice that I fundamentally disagree with. Because in the original Mulan, her being found out was such a powerful moment. And because it was out of her reach, it was out of her control. And in this, she sort of controls her destiny at every point. And I just find that to be a little less compelling, because it just means that she's a little less flawed.
Andy from Kind of Funny.
It also makes the montage scene kind of pointless. Because she's a Jedi at this point, and she has harnessed such a huge amount of chi, and the chi it's all around us, and it flows through us. You know, and it's basically like she's a Jedi. She's a young Jedi that just hasn't really been found out yet, or whatever. And then we get a montage scene where she can't fucking shoot an arrow. Like, is she faking it? I don't know. Like, I don't think that's the point of it. Like, you're supposed
arrowing
to have
out with Scarpino.
Go ahead, Tim Gettys. Kind of funny.
But here's my thing, though. Like, I feel where you both are coming from, because this is very Star Wars. Like, from the beginning of this movie, I was like, oh my God, it's the Force. Like, they're just straight up going with this. That's a weird choice. But I think overall it works for the movie. I agree with you overall at the end of it. There are moments that are kind of weird, like the witch being the person that kind of turns her to make her realize she's Mulan, not pretending to be a guy, is a very, very bizarre choice. And I didn't like how that happened. But what you guys are talking about, I actually like it. And I think they do a good job of explaining where this isn't the traditional story we're used to of, oh, she doesn't understand how to use her powers. She has to learn how to use them. It's she knows how to use her powers. Everyone's telling her she can't use her powers. So she's not using them. And she needs to be loyal, brave, and true. And she's not able to do that. And they even say it's weakening her. So it's like her not being able to hit the arrow and stuff. It's like, it's because she is being someone that she's not supposed to be. She's lying and she's not committing to being the badass that she should be. She's not standing up for herself. And that's why I like her coming forward as being herself and not getting found out, but actually being like, no, this is me. I don't like how she became that, but that's fair.
So,
Nick Scarpino.
I'll agree that theme is incredibly important, and I think they did hammer that across. However, it makes for a boring movie because there are no stakes whatsoever. At no point from about the minute 50 on did I ever think Mulan was going to lose this battle, because she never, like, even though Jason Scott Lee's character was awesome, I just was like, they're going to square off. She's going to own this guy because she's just beat half an army with her wit. She knows more. She's already got everything she needs, and that should have happened a little bit closer to him. To the square off behind him. And then another thing that I've noticed, and I wrote this down in my notes, the bad guy of this movie doesn't know who Mulan is until an hour and a half into the movie when he sees her running toward him. That, to me, I was like, how did we get to this point? Because you remember, like, they squared off, if I'm not mistaken, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but they squared off and they knew each other. Like, he saw her in the past, and at least was like, I recognize this as a foe that's venerable. In this, he just like, they have this big fight, and he goes, okay, we're just going to tear off and go over this way. Which, again, I kind of like, because they're like, this guy's a little bit smarter than everyone else. But I don't like because we never get a great scene between them where she goes, holy shit, this guy's overwhelmingly powerful. I need to learn X, Y, and Z in the B story so that in the A story, I can come and overpower this guy.
But I feel like he's not overwhelmingly powerful. I think that's kind of the whole point of the movie, is that he's
he is, though, because we saw him. But he owns the witch. And at no point
he just owns the witch when she's not like expecting it.
What I'm trying to but like I feel like I understand what you're saying, but I feel like the witch is such a fucked up piece in this movie that fundamentally kind of ruins the movie for me. Where it's like, yeah, he owns the witch. Why? Because in the scene before the where they have the little talk and she's like, so I guess I'm your slave. We have a moment where the witch is like, I could kill you in a moment. Before your blink, you'd be ripped to shreds. And it's like, okay, but his response, hold on. His response is, but I'm going to make a kingdom that would accept you. And then later, when she finds out that he considers her his slave, which kind of contradicts the whole reason she's backing him, she chooses not to, like, rip his head off for no, what? I don't understand the reasoning why, for whatever reason, her arc is she left, was exiled, and had to be on her own forever. Found this guy, now was using her powers to make him powerful so that she can get what he wants. She then finds out that she's probably not going to get what he wants, and yet she still follows him. There's no reason for that.
See, I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to figure out a relationship between Mulan and the witch that, if done right, could have been really compelling, similar to like Luke and Vader, right? Where imagine a movie where instead of her having to deliver the death blow, all she has to do is convince the witch to help her, and then together they overcome this guy who's supremely powered.
Yeah, because it's the idea of the witch is like, you're like me. We're just like each other. We are two people that we're powerful women that are not appreciated, and we're not being utilized or accepted for who we really are. So let's kind of do this together. I thought that's what was going to happen. I like I totally agree with Kevin. I think it's like the idea is there, it just was not executed at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think what would have been powerful was if after Mulan gets exiled, she goes back, finds the emperor, and is trying to tell him what's about to come, and they like go to kill her, and then the witch comes in, now won over, sacrifices herself like she does with the arrow, but it's something more serious. What is happening here?
Why are we getting a bunch of calls? Joey, are you calling us?
No, they're trying to do the
Weekly
production
meeting.
meeting.
A meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
Sorry. Yeah, that was heard on the recordings too.
Kevin, I 100% agree. I think that would have been really cool. I think that the relationship with her and the witch, I started getting interested in, but it needed to be introduced way earlier, and they needed to have kind of a friend-foe relationship, like, because they get each other, and I think her sacrificing for Mulan would have been that much more powerful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just question the introduction of the superpowers in this movie are just like, this was a mistake for me, because the whole point of Mulan in the beginning was that she's going to put herself in this dangerous situation where she's going to face enemies that could kill her, and if she's found out, her friends and her comrades will kill her, and she chooses to do that no matter, like, despite those two things, because it's for her family, right, to save her dad. In this one, it's just weird that they chose to make her sort of like this. Well, also, so to me, that is the very point and the theme and the quintessential takeaway from Mulan is that you have a person who's being kept down, and she chooses, regardless of the peril that she faces, to rise up and be the person she knows she can be, and show the world that women, specifically in this culture and in this situation, can be more. Giving her a superpower automatically offsets her from every other person in this whole movie. So that, like, I think of her sister, right? We come back and we find her sister who is still stuck in the same position she was stuck in. Now, granted, maybe the sister wanted that, but the sister doesn't have another choice, because what the filmmakers are telling us is that the sister doesn't have chi, or at least she's not there. So she can't go be a warrior. She has to just fulfill this place in her family. And I think they tried to rectify that at the very end, where she's like, no, I don't want to be a warrior. I have to go make amends with my father. And then they gave her, the guy comes, Donnie Yen comes back and he's like, oh, we really want you. She's like, cool, I have the best of both worlds. But it's just so weird to me, because I'm like, what are people supposed to take away from this? Like, are we supposed to learn that if you try really hard, you can get out of your station in life? Or are we supposed to learn that? But only if you're born with it and you have the superpower can you do that. And I think that's just a shitty message to send people.
No, see, look, I
think
disagree.
it's about being
disagree.
true to yourself.
You gotta be true to yourself.
Of like not.
Yeah, but originally being true to yourself meant that if in the original Mulan, being true to yourself meant that you might die. In this Mulan, being true to yourself just means like, hey, Dad, I don't want to do what you want me to do, but no one's gonna kill me because I'm a super powered human being that nobody can touch.
No, but she even said like that they were gonna kill her or whatever in that one segment. I don't remember what. She chose to reveal herself, even though she knew that was a possibility, because that was better than living life as somebody that isn't her.
She said, kill me. She's like, execute me.
Well, and I think they attempted to get that across. I'm just saying, from my personal perspective, the message is lessened because of the introduction of these things, and also it leads to the climax that I felt was just kind of like anticlimactic, because I'm like, cool, we're just watching two super people fight each other again, and she doesn't really have to learn anything she's learned in the 2 hours, or use anything she's learned in the 2 hours leading up to this to beat this guy. Tim Gettys from Kind of Funny.
Thank you very much. I think that is, again, just trying to treat this as if it's the last movie. This movie sets up that only men can have chi. So the fact that she has chi,
no, they said
and
only men can use chi. Women can have it; they're just not allowed to use it.
I mean, either way,
right.
Like, is that what they said?
If that's the case, I must have missed that. That does change.
I don't think that's the case, Kev. I think it was them saying that like only men have it. And her having it meant she needed. That's why she had to hide.
Everybody has chi.
Like no, you're turning this into Star Wars shit. Like, but like real talk, it's like they set up that only men have chi, and that's why Mulan in this movie has to hide that fact, right?
Okay.
And like to me, that changes the whole dynamic of how we need to look at this character, where there might be a ton of other women that have it as well that are also being told they need to hide it. And it's like, that's kind of the point of this, is that like she has this power in her, and it's not that it's like, oh, she's like, it's not that not all women are special. It's just that all women are being held down differently, because like only the men are being allowed to have this power.
That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure you got that wrong. I'm pretty sure that like both women and men can have it, because like she was clearly.
Well, it doesn't matter. You guys are arguing two sides of the same point. The point is that Tim's making, which actually is valid and I didn't consider, is that if other women do have this and they're forced to hiding, her coming out of hiding will give them the courage to come do it as well, and she's legitimizing. That makes more sense. That just didn't come across to me, unfortunately.
I was with Nick there. It didn't come across to me as that. I thought every human being like had chi. Again, like Tim, you're doing the Star Wars thing, but that's how I saw it initially as well. I thought everybody has.
Just not everyone has access to the Force. It's the exact same thing where just it's randomly peppered in.
Yeah, it flows through everybody, but only a few people can have it.
That's how I thought it was in this too.
Me too.
That's so if we did, sorry Tim. So if you are correct, and I don't think there's any merit in going back and figuring out which one is. That makes more sense to me, your perspective, Tim, and that is cooler. I wish they had hammered that home. I wish that, and I hate to say this because obviously I'm being slightly facetious with the imagery, but the point is still the same. I needed the little kid with the broom moment. I needed someone else to be like, I needed her sister to be like, finally, fuck, I can do this too. You got to hit my dumbass head over the head with a 2x4 and really hammer this home that there are other people
but that's
who
my
want
thing
to
is,
change.
no, but I think that is what you just said is against the point of it, where it's you need to be true to who you are. Her little sister wants a husband. Her little sister is somebody that does not want to be a warrior. It's like,
but that's a complex issue, right?
But yeah,
that's
like,
a complex
isn't it?
issue
Yeah,
because she doesn't know she can't have that, and so
true.
Someone wanting something when it's your only option, that's null and void, right? If we're presented with another option and we see the sister, all I needed was like the sister being like, oh my God, you can do this, I can do this too, and that would have hammered that theme home for me.
It's funny.
I feel like the
line,
sister thing is the spider stuff.
Yeah,
specifically.
Tim,
go for it, Jeff.
like, yeah, I was about to actually bring that up. I think it's funny that at the end the sister's like, "Oh, I was like married, or like I'm gonna be married, and don't worry, he can kill spiders." That's kind of sad because it's like she never overcomes her fears of spiders, right?
Right.
Like she just like, don't worry,
that's
I don't
okay.
need you anymore.
That's true to her heart.
But that's not.
I mean, that's
true.
just when you're telling people what the limits are.
Yeah, you're making that supposition because no one's ever said, hey, you have to kill the spider yourself. And that's
Right.
the whole point of this movie to me, and the whole point of Mulan as a character is that she's supposed to be the leader of this new progressive movement. And we need to see how those, I mean, granted, we're splitting hairs here. We get the ramifications of her. He tells her she's going to be legendary and she's going to go be a warrior and all these things. So one can infer from that other people are going to see that and be inspired to change their lot in life. And I think that's super cool, and I think that's a powerful message. I just don't think they nailed it coming through, and I think that her being special with that power and no one else being able to do that, I think they needed to clarify that a little bit more, because to me, when I watched it, and again, we watched this in a hurry, it just came out, I had to watch it like 10 o'clock in the morning, I hadn't had my 10th cup of coffee yet, so maybe I missed some of the intricacies of this, but to me, her having that superpower, or her being Luke Skywalker, just makes me think like, wow, other people can't follow in their suit. But if anyone can use the Force, then my question is, why the fuck isn't everyone using the Force right now? Because if you told me right now, hey, dude, you can harness your chi, I'd be like, I'm quitting Kind of Funny. I'm gonna go do that because it makes me a superpower person. Then I'm coming back to Kind of Funny, and we're gonna do cool shit on camera.
But I mean, just to reiterate my point here, I think that's what makes this movie good and not just like, oh, I don't understand the point of why this happened. Like, this is a different Mulan, and this Mulan starts off saying this Mulan has superpowers. And then they dumb her superpowers down before she gets them back. And again, not saying it's perfect. I don't like how she gets them back.
Yeah.
But to me, that is a very interesting twist on this character. And like that makes this plot a lot more intricate and evolved than just like, oh, women are supposed to marry men.
But
she wants to be a warrior. And then it can't just be that, oh, every woman's a warrior now. It's like, no, people are allowed to make their own choices, and that's what it's about. Feel like Mulan wanted to be a warrior.
But I don't feel like at the end of this, people were gonna feel like, oh, I can be a warrior. I feel like the next person that comes out and is like, oh, I'm pretending to be a dude, unless she saves the whole nation, will probably get murdered, right?
That's not the vibe that this movie portrays.
But also,
I was just gonna say, I don't think that's. I think it's now opening up this.
Dude, at one point,
all these new opportunities for women. Like, there's no way that Mulan's gonna be in the Imperial Army and they're gonna be like, she's the only woman. Like, I don't think that's.
I think you're supposed to be left with the notion that this is the start of progress, and I think you're supposed to be left with that notion. And I think they did a good job at that. But I think that there's a little bit of the character struggle here that's missing, and I just don't think that her character arc. I think I hear what you're saying, Tim, and they did do that. I just personally don't feel like being true to yourself in the way they put her in the situations they put her was compelling. Did she lose her powers, or did she choose not to use her powers because she felt ashamed of them? That's a big differential, right? That's a big difference. And to me, when she goes into that training montage and she's trying to carry the things up, that's just her saying like, I'm just trying to fit in and I don't want to, but I have secretly this power that I could use at any time, but I'm just not going to use it. And I get why they're going that, and that does back up the theme. I just think it's weak. I just think that there need to be a lot more challenge and a lot more. She's never really challenged in this movie at all.
I think she is. And that's my thing is I think this movie is just different than what we're used to, where it's like the challenge comes from the loyal, brave, true thing. And they keep hammering that home a lot. And I think that that's the thing that we need to focus on, where it's like her powers were lessened because she wasn't being true. It's like when she lived,
I didn't get that.
But I mean, no, I think you're right about that. I think that they were trying to hammer that message over, and like her abilities are open when she is truly who she is. But I think that there's the moment where she goes up to the general guy, and is like, "Dude, I haven't been truthful," and he's kind of goes off on a tangent and offers one of his daughters to get married with her. But like, had she been truthful, then she might have been killed. So it's just.
Well, I think Tim's right. I mean, I think you are right. That is the theme, and they tried their damnedest to back that up.
It's a whole
I'm
thing
just saying
of timing. It's not just like it's confusing when the message is like, "Hey, if you're truthful too early, you get killed. Truthful too late, they'll just forgive you and let you go."
But that's the thing,
you gotta
though.
be late and be successful, also.
Yeah,
you have to.
But that's the thing. She had to, like, she was in the wrong, like, for how this society is handled. So it's like, yeah, she acted that way because she knew that was the case. She went to tell them, I'm fucking lying. And based on the conversation, she's like, fuck, this ain't the time. And it's just like, that's the thing, is that's where she was not at her strongest. She had not had that moment yet.
I get it, and I see that, but to me, that is not as compelling as the character flaw that she had in the original Mulan, which was that she was doing this to save her father, and was hell bent on not being found out. And then when they find her out, that is when she's kind of she's confronted with that choice. Whereas in this one, she chooses to come out, which is fine, and it does back up the theme, but it's not as powerful to me as a character where they go, "We found you out and we're going to exile you," and she's like, "Oh, that is a deeper, lower point than her, just having killed half the army and being like, I'm gonna come out and tell everyone who I really am."
But she gets chosen to come out, doesn't actually fucking do it, and then she comes out and is just like, faces the witch and is like, "Oh, I need to be Mulan." Comes back as Mulan's like, "I'm gonna lead y'all motherfuckers. I'm the leader."
Well, yeah, but I didn't feel that part.
I feel like what Nick, you bring up an interesting point. Where in the first movie, when she's found out, there is a little bit of like, did you do this because you thought it was right, or because you wanted an adventure? Right? And we see the same thing with Mushu, where there's
remember that.
No?
But go ahead. Keep saying. I'm sorry.
Well, we see that with Mushu, where it's like, why did Mushu leave his family? Well, I guess, no, you're right. The Mushu tells him, well, yeah, that's more of Mushu's journey. Never mind.
Well, by the way, I think it's worth noting that the original Mulan's not perfect in my eyes either. I just think that there are elements. I think there's a lot of elements of this that nail it, that are way more compelling than the original Mulan as well. I just don't think this character. I think this whole story suffers from one of my biggest pet peeves, is that the character starts kind of flawed and then ends not so kind of flawed. She's pretty much awesome from the beginning to start, and everyone else kind of has to change around her. And I just don't like stories like that. It's the same reason why I think it's so hard to tell a Superman story.
I think you're so wrong about this, Nick. Like,
no, it's exactly a Superman story.
The change doesn't happen at the end. Like,
it does. There's no change. There
is change. She has this thing and has to hide it, and is real. And at some point realizes, I need to not hide this. I need to be who I am.
Right, and that's a Superman story, and that's why that's why it's so difficult to tell those stories, because that right there is not necessarily fun to watch for 2 hours. Right, that's where a character in a good story would hit around 25 minutes in, where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. If you want to take the original Star Wars example, when Luke Skywalker said, you have to go on this adventure, you have this power in you, and he goes, I don't want to do that. The consequences are his family burns to death, and then he's on that adventure no matter what, and he has to learn to use those powers. In this, she starts off hella powerful, ends hella powerful, and in the middle we get some decent choreography with some cool arrows, and that's pretty much it. She
starts off powerful. In the middle is not that powerful and comes up. It's like,
but she chooses to be not powerful.
She doesn't ever lose.
She doesn't choose. She doesn't choose.
She 100% chooses. No, she literally she does the thing out in the
doing the thing. So she's losing
no mystical power. There's no mystical power that's taking that away from her. That's not what I got.
There is. They said that.
What?
No, they said that when you're
powerful.
I mean, I missed that point because to me, the whole point was that she was dampening it herself so that she didn't stand out and they wouldn't kill her.
Her dad had a conversation with her and is just like, hey, you can't do this. This is not something girls can do. You need to stop.
Not ladylike.
And later, there's a point in the movie where they say that she's not being true, so her powers are weakened.
Way later, while she's fighting.
I missed that line. Okay. I missed that line. To me, the entire time,
witch, right?
Yeah, that was with the witch. The witch says that to her when she keeps asking her name and then spears her in the chest, and the chest plate protects her.
Yeah, which was weird, by the way. That should have been like her father's amulet or something like
shuriken.
that. That was one of those moments where I was like, why would she just take it out? That was a beautiful moment where something
of the male character. What was his name?
Yeah.
John.
I forgot.
Well, it was I forget
John.
what
Whatever.
it was.
Ping in the
To
last
me-
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me that was a missed opportunity and a perfect example of like how some of these things could have been a little bit well thought out. I would have liked to have seen that been like whatever stopped it from killing her was the last vestige
Phoenix.
of what's that?
The
Phoenix,
Phoenix
like the
amulet that
Phoenix
their family kept
pendant.
around.
Yeah, but did we see that?
Yeah. Well, we saw it. She didn't take it with her, right? She left it there.
Oh, so that's my point. Like I wish she was wearing that.
Hold on, we
and
didn't
that
see
stopped
it.
her. We
Just
we never
like-
saw it.
Underwear.
Just like
we don't see
Ooh.
underwear, ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
because this episode's brought to you by MeUndies.
Great transition.
MeUndies wants to talk about your underwear. Like seriously, they have a lot of feelings about it and want to chat with anyone who will listen. So here it goes. MeUndies just wants you to be happy. Just wants you to be wearing the softest underwear that you possibly can be. I know I'm doing right now. I'm feeling really soft. Kevin, are you feeling soft?
Oh, I'm so comfortable, Tim Tam.
Andy, are you feeling soft?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm wearing my I don't even know what they are, like blue Hawaiian pattern. I'm not
Andy,
sure.
put your pants back on. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I just got some charcoal gray, and that's the thing. You got options here at MeUndies. You can get
Tim, I've got
your
blue.
normal traditional prints. You can get your bold prints, or you can get adventurous prints. Adventurous means you're getting something from Star Wars. You're getting something from Back to the Future. You're getting some neon pizza. Because why not? You know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to MeUndies.com/morning to get your 100% satisfaction guarantee and 15% off your first order. That's MeUndies.com/morning for the best underwear you will ever purchase. They're the only underwear I wear. Kevin loves them. Andy loves them. Greg loves them. A lot of people love them. They're great. Fantastic pairs of underwear to wear. To get your 50% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. Next up, shout out to Honey. Do you want to save money? Yes, of course you do. I do. And I've saved hundreds, if not thousands of dollars because I've been using Honey for a very long time. We all shop online and we've seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. You don't need to do that anymore. You open your browser, you install it once, it does the magic for you. Anytime you're buying something online, it will find the best promo code for you, apply it to your checkout, then you're saving money. It's fantastic stuff. Joey, how much money have you saved kind of funny using Honey?
Ooh, I use Honey for all of our major purchases. It's amazing the discounts that you can get on pictures and all of our fun office stuff. It's kind of crazy. I'm always surprised. Then you get the Honey Gold, which then you can use to get more gift cards. It's great.
Exactly. So it's all the Patreon stuff that we do, all the bonus stuff. We use the Honey codes to help us get all those things printed, shipped, all that stuff. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. Pretty much anything you're looking for. Etsy all the way up to Best Buy. It's all there for you to get. One-time install on your browser. Never need to think about it again. It just applies the discounts. You can go get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show, Kind of Funny in Review. Go to joinhoney.com/morning to get it now. Back to the show.
Can we talk about how they either made Jet Li do that weird deep voice or dubbed him over?
Oh my
They
God, I
dubbed
need to
him
pee
over.
so bad, but fuck, you're so right.
Dude, what the fuck? Like that I was like, when I got to Jet Li, I was like, fuck, I forgot that Jet Li is
Yeah.
playing the Emperor. And then he starts talking. I was like, that's not Jet Li's voice. Why would they do that? That's weird.
It's weird that they used him that way, Jet Li. Like,
Dude,
why?
I didn't even recognize him. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was
Him and-
like, first off, the cast of this is phenomenal. But yeah, you're right, Kevin. Like seeing him, he gets like one moment where he fucks up like
With,
three
with
soldiers.
the fucking drapes, and it's so badass. Where it's like, who the fuck's gonna take this asshole down?
Right.
Not
Like, why
these
would you
three
think you
soldiers
can
that
beat
got
this
murdered
guy?
by drapes.
Drapes. I
Yeah.
killed you with a long scarf. I just
Yeah,
I do want to say back to the scene where she gets impaled by the shuriken
oh right.
and has her transformation. That whole set was terrible. Like I
You
don't
didn't
know.
like that? The salt
No,
flats?
the-
The weird ice set.
When she,
No.
it was, I'm with Andy where they go to
Those
the
are-
close up of the salt flat and it looks clearly like it's plastic.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
just
God.
looks like a
No.
set.
I
It just
didn't
looked
like it.
really, really
I
bad.
like
So
But
wait,
the
also, like,
idea.
I rolled it
the
back.
whole ice crackling underneath her. Like I
That's
don't.
salt, right? That's
It
what
never
happens.
ha-
Salt goes to the surface.
I thought it
and
was
like,
ice, but I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, it looked like it was ice or whatever. I mean, I don't care what it was. It's just the fact that they were teasing that this ice could break, and then like nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
it was just so.
I
It's
thought it
very
was gonna break when she said her
Yeah.
name wasn't Mulan. It's
Yeah,
kind of being like
exactly.
you're off balance.
Symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I rolled this part back because I was like, oh, maybe I took my eyes off for a second and she took out her father's amulet with the phoenix, and that's what saved her. And then we see the phoenix fly overhead, but she never did that. She just literally takes the shuriken out of her armor and drops it. And I'm like, symbolically, that was a huge missed opportunity,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah,
But
well,
isn't
I mean, it was the
I feel like it's always a
breastplate that saved her,
catch-22
right?
with stuff like that, because if it's too on the nose, then that's a criticism.
I mean,
too.
Joey, this movie was so on the nose with that damn
Yeah.
fucking phoenix everywhere.
The phoenix just fucking flies. Every time she has a moment where she's like, I don't know, the phoenix is up there being like, just keep moving forward. And that's totally fine. But the phoenix was an odd choice. But I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more like, I don't mind on the nose when it's set up correctly in the first act.
Do you
And they
want
set
more
it up in the first act. And I was like, oh, this is going to play something in there, right? Just like the sword played a pivotal role of her, like, losing it in the fire. I guess that was supposed to be symbolic of her, like, breaking with what her father thought she wanted to be or whatever, even though she felt pretty heartbroken over it. I don't know. Those symbols are a little bit weird. I have to digest them. But that was one of those moments where I was like, well, this is supposed to be a big moment and her big transition into like accepting who she is, and it just kind of fell flat. And then some of that was based on the fact that it looked like it was shot in like a really tiny studio on a backlot someplace, and the painters were like, just what is it, ice or is it salt? I don't know.
It's like styrofoam. Just paint that green shit. Oh, who cares? So yeah,
Well,
it was fairly weird.
Now that we're talking about bad sets and mistakes done in the movie, how bad? Like one of the edits where she is riding, like she's decided that she's gonna go stop the Ronins.
It's her Mulan moment. It's where she's first a woman.
As she's leaving
on the horse
like the battle, she starts riding up, and then cut. Now she's behind the rocks on the top of the mountain, not top, but like midway.
Yeah.
Like she's above. She has the high ground suddenly, and it's just like that was a terrible, arguably one of the worst cuts I've seen in a movie ever, just because of how important it was story-wise for her to get past these people.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely like such a jarring thing, and I think the cinematography of this movie is lacking in so many ways.
Oh wait,
the amount of spinning shots we get that don't add to the scene itself. It's like the choreography is good, and you guys are adding things to it just to like make it feel cooler. But Nick, you brought up Crouching Tiger earlier. It's like,
it reminds me of like
that.
It reminds me of like Bad Boys 2, that the spinning or what Bad Boys was it that
it was 2?
It would spin
going
all the time whenever there was a punch. And that, granted, that happened mostly in sort of the introductory fights, and we didn't see a whole lot of it at the final battle. I thought was really cool in the tower. I thought that was really cool and really well choreographed. But there is that scene, Kevin, that you were just mentioning of her getting behind and the catapult scene and all that shit, what eventually creates the avalanche. But I swear, and I don't think they reused shots, but the shots of them loading the fucking like rock, and then it looked like the same shot 3 different times. It looked like 3 different times where they used the same shots, but I don't think they were. I think they were just so similar. But it looked like it made me laugh every time, dude. I had to rewind and be like, wait, what?
It looked like they were giving extra credit to the painter of the the dude that put the tar on there that would catch on fire. They were like, hey, we want everyone to know this guy matters. And it's like, okay, all right, yeah.
That was the director's Greg Grunberg. She was like, this guy's super special to me. I'm going to put him in everything. I want to clarify, by the way, I didn't go into this movie expecting Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's just one of the only comparisons I have that really sticks out of my mind, because the imagery of that movie was so beautiful it lasted. Specifically, the image of him standing on the edge of the bamboo stick high up in the trees and like waiting for her to run up and fight him.
You ever watch that movie, Tim?
Yeah.
Man, it's an incredibly moving and emotional film, and I was not expecting Mulan to be that, and I think it's an unfair comparison because I think we're setting out to do something.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is because the action is reminiscent of it, and I don't know where everyone falls on this, but I think that the action in this movie 90% of the time is fucking awesome. Anytime there's like standing on the horses, there's times we see the bad guys kind of flip do the reverse on the horse. All of it feels so believable and real and fucking cool. The arrow stuff, kicking the arrows, all that stuff, it builds up. They did something that I fucking love, which is building on action scenes. We're familiar with comedies where it's like the rule of threes. Seeing that in action is always great. And we see Mulan kind of learn to kick over time, and then to end the final blow with that kick. I fucking loved it. I thought it was
I
cool.
hated it.
I thought it
And
was
I
I didn't like it either.
I thought
I
so much
liked
of it
it.
was well earned and like well shot and dope. But I just think that there was moments of when we see all the guys running up the walls and running down the walls, it's fucking cool and it's scary. When we see them running across the walls, all the shit. This movie did something that I've never seen before, which is characters running on a vertical wall horizontally with Mulan running towards him, and then she slides on the wall before she attacks him, and it was dope as fuck. And I
like
write
the
it all
hallway
off.
scene.
Yeah, and I read that all off too. It's cheap, cool. I believe this because you've set this up already. But there are like 4 or 5 shots in this movie that show just a little too much that we see the wire work. And that's where I'm just like, oh man, it was magic, and it's not anymore.
Well, I mean, and that's the problem, is that's the tone, because the first shot where you're exactly what you're talking about is the very first instance of the wire work we see with the little girl Mulan falling down the roof, and then she does that thing where she flips, but she just stays in the air just a little too long physically, and then sticks it, and then we cut to she puts the stick in the thing and then hangs there and like looks at everyone, and everyone's like,
dude,
It was the
I'm telling
fall
you, man.
right before she shoves the stick in the wall. That was
That
a
was
little
weird.
too long. Where it was like,
was a little too
oh,
long.
I'm so glad the movie got better after that, because for that first like 5 to 10 minutes, I thought like this is gonna be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Because like the setup with her, like I think a lot of it was the cutting and the cinematography of her running after the little chicken, and the camera would like zoom in and people would be like, oh Mulan. Like it was so fucking cheesy, dude. It was so terrible. And after that 5 minutes, I like walked to the restroom and I saw Barrett. He was like, "Oh, you're up early watching Mulan." I was like, "Yeah, this movie sucks so far." Like, and luckily, I'm happy it did get better. But overall, I still would rate this movie as like a, I don't know, 5.5 out of 10 or something, 6 out of 10.
Wow.
Mediocre. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd be right there with you. I think like a 6 is where I'd put it. But
Would we
it does
call
have
it
cool
good,
action
bad?
scenes.
Would it
I
be
guess
good,
I mean
good?
me, to be fair, like I'd probably give it a 6.5, 7.
7.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
again,
closer to the 7 than 6.5.
I think we're all being hypercritical, largely because when I watched the trailer for this, I was like, "Oh, this actually has the potential to be something cool and stunning."
Same.
And I came into it, and I was right off the bat exactly what Andy's saying. I was like, "Nope, this does not have." They needed to spend a little bit more time letting this one cook in the screenwriting area, and then bringing it back out. I think they could have shaved 15 minutes off of it too with the witch stuff. It would have been fine.
I wish that they would have gotten rid of more of the witch stuff and built up the side characters more. Because
I like the friends. The friends were funny and silly.
To be fair, I kind of liked the cricket guy more than I thought, but I wish that they would have fleshed out that group a little bit more.
That really bothered me. Where it was like, he doesn't need to be a character. You guys have gotten rid of that character, and sure enough, he doesn't play, like, those side characters are such a small role where it's like that pop of that moment of like, oh, they have a guy named Cricket that's saying he's lucky. Oh, cool. I'm sure this will pay off. How does it pay off? He pretends to be dead for way longer than anyone would in normal life.
Well, does he pretend to be dead?
But then he pops the fuck off and shoots arrows behind his back, bro.
When the fuck did he learn that?
My eyes so much.
That was bad.
That was such a like unrealistic hint. Well, I mean, he was lucky, and that's a lucky shot.
The thing also that we should talk about is the climax of this movie, where in the original one we had them teaming up, and including I forget the captain's character that she eventually marries in the original one, but he has that moment where he's like, oh shit, I misjudged you. I need to be a part of this. You can do this. Let's all team up together. And then they go up and they repel and they all have fun. Yeah. But not have fun, but they beat the guy. Yeah. She has a moment in that where and it was a moment that really stuck out to me because it was a great moment that showed her character, which is that she, Shen Yu, who was the bad guy, right, had just beat. No, Shan Yu was the bad guy. Shang Li is the good guy. Yeah. He just beat him, and one of her colleagues, rather, one of the guys that's in the army, the bigger guy, grabs the emperor and zip lines down. And she realizes that she has no choice. She can't beat the bad guy, but if she leaves this zip line, he's going to go and he's going to achieve his mission of killing the emperor, and all of China's going to suffer for it. And so she makes the sacrifice and cuts the rope. And you feel it in that moment where you're like, oh no, that was a terrible idea because now you're in mortal danger, but the emperor's safe. That is a great character moment that I just felt like we never really got in this.
I think the end of this one's so much stronger.
I think that
it's
the
so
action
much better
of it's fun,
she won. She won with the emperor being like, hey, do this. All of a sudden, China believes in her. All of a sudden, she is now who she wants to be. She could have beat this fucker from the beginning of this movie. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but that's not
her
fun.
arc of power. I mean,
Then why
it was
didn't
fun to
she?
me. I thought the end of this was way stronger than the end of the first movie.
Also,
I just feel like the whole the character development for a story should roll all the way through, all the way to the end, all the way to sort of like the denouement, right? Which should be that she shouldn't come to these world building conclusions until she absolutely has to, and that's what's called dramatic tension. In this, there is none because she comes to that way too early, and then there's nothing that she really has to do other than get to the guy. And then
she actually led the group with this one, where in the last movie it was like literally kind of her and then a bunch of jackalopes around her that like were just fucking up and fucking around and like things are falling out of their shirts and shit. And it was just like,
well, I mean,
I liked that there was a turning point like 2/3 through this movie where she's like, no, I'm the fucking leader. Y'all are coming with me. We're doing this shit.
But
and then she does it.
But thematically, in the first one, she goes, I'm going to sacrifice myself for my father because that's who I think I should be. In the end, she goes, I'm going to sacrifice myself for myself and for my nation because that's who I think I should be. And that is a much more powerful way to end a movie or end a character arc than having her go, I don't know if I should really tell people who I am. And then about 50 minutes, and she goes, I'm going to tell you all who I am. And then everyone's like, cool, you're cool. And then for the next 45 minutes, we watch her just kicking ass and doing stuff that at no point do we ever feel like she's going to lose. At no point do we feel like Superman's not going to just punch a little harder and win.
At any point in the first Mulan, did you think she was going to lose?
No, but that's a dumb kid. Like that's a 90-minute long kids film with singing and acting and a talking dragon. Point. This is a try to be more, I don't want to say realistic, but more grounded, serious story. And come on. Did you ever think at any point that she's not going to, I know it's Mulan, and of course it's a movie, so of course she's going to come out at the end. But you have to, at some point as an audience, be like, oh no, she's in danger. And when we get there, I just felt like we needed to build up the bad guy a lot more. They needed to have a moment where they fought and she failed and then learn something in the B story that then allows her to overcome the challenges in the A story. I mean, I'm asking for classic storytelling here, but I just feel like fundamentally the Mulan myth just doesn't have that. And that's fine. Maybe that's what I'm responding to.
I appreciate that this movie wasn't just paint by numbers, what we always see every single time. That's what I'm kind of reacting to.
And I get that, but to counteract that, if the first Mulan was paint by numbers, this one just had one number, and it was just like, here, you're done. There's nothing more to paint. We're done.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
there was the moment where she had to realize she needs to be true.
But I thought that moment it fell so flat, and it was not good, and I didn't feel anything. She takes the shuriken out of her chest, and I'm like,
that shit sucks.
What's the point?
Yeah,
I agree.
I think more importantly, like that's the problem. Like that shit sucks. Like the whole aspect of the witch lady who kept saying she wasn't a witch. I don't know what she was now that I think of it. But
I think
it was a girl.
Okay. Anyways, she was using dark chi. She was using dark chi. But like that whole aspect, no one liked. We don't think it was well written. I think that's what hurts the movie the most.
I don't think anyone disagrees.
Okay, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. To me, that's what's keeping it from being a good movie. And
I think there's a lot of things keeping it from being a good movie. But I think that I think if you were to say, hey, we've got nothing else to watch this weekend, do you want to watch Mulan? Absolutely. I think this is a watchable movie. I think there's parts of it that are good. And I don't think at any point I didn't get to a point with it where I'm like, fuck, I'm dreading the rest of this. I did get to a point where I paused. I was like, oh, fuck, there's an hour left. But I think they do a more than capable job with the story. And to Tim's point, I think they had a different perspective on this. And I think they wanted to do it a little different than the first one. And that's cool. I just don't think they quite got there. And I think a lot of the magic for these live action movies is missing because of just the nature of them being live action and not being able to do crazy things like have Eddie Murphy be a talking dragon and have it come to life. So it's going to be a little bit more subdued.
Right.
Yeah, I think it loses a lot of the charm, unfortunately. And that's, again, like Tim mentioned earlier, a lot of these Disney movies are really highly regarded in our minds because of the fun characters and the quotable lines and the silly moments. And then there's really good emotion that goes along with that. But I feel like that's the best part of Mulan, along with the musical numbers. And they were both kind of non-existent here. And it really just bummed me out.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that in the sense that like this, I think, is demonstrably a better plot than the first movie. And I honestly don't think there's denying that. But I think that
definitely
the
more
movie
fleshed out
isn't
for sure.
great. So
right.
with that, it's kind of like, all right, I do think the two things this movie are missing the most for the hardcore fans is any like real musical reference to "I'll Make a Man Out of You." I appreciated. There was lines. There was dialogue lines.
Yeah.
But I know, but not to
which
have
hurt
even
more,
just, like,
frankly.
a little bit of like the drums,
the tone,
or, like,
yeah,
anything.
something.
Yeah,
because they
that
did
was
it. I
unfortunate.
think if they wouldn't have done it with the other songs, then that would have been fine. But
they did every other
did it with
song.
everyone. But it's like you're missing this. Like then it makes the best
song. Let's be honest.
Well, who's the chubby dude who's like I don't care what she looks like, just what she cooks like or whatever.
That's
like
Poe.
that was there and that was fine, but I mean, I don't know, man.
There was music cues of every other song besides that, which to me is a bummer. There was like line referentials. That's fine, cool, whatever. I thought that this movie did a great job of flipping it, turning the montage scene into 2 scenes. I think that worked very strongly. And I think the use of reflection as a badass hero moment fucking worked 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
and I was
cool.
like, I'm fucking here for it. But I think the biggest issue I have compared to the first movie with this is the moment where they see war for the first time was so strong in the first movie.
Yeah,
So
because it was
strong.
set up
What was
so
the
well.
timing? Yeah.
Everyone's like, this is
Absolutely
gonna be
weak
cool.
in this one.
Yeah,
it didn't hit on any emotional level. And I think that the witch was the other thing that, like, I get what they were going for, but they really kind of just whiffed the hit on it, like pretty much across the board.
Yeah, because in that first one, we literally end a song and then they come across it, and it's that weird, beautiful.
We don't end the song.
The song
It's
doesn't
like,
end.
it stops it, right? Yeah, that was a great moment, and this was definitely missing that. I don't know.
I just think that like this movie's story, you're saying it's better than the original, and well, I don't disagree with that. I still don't think it's a good story, or where it's like, why was Mulan on the front guard? Why was she riding a horse in the beginning, and all of the other people that she was hanging out with were fighting on the ground? Well, I
can explain that just by. Yeah, I can explain that by lieu of just her being the better warrior, and I would assume riding horseback and shooting arrows at people takes more skill, and so they would have been like, "Hey, get up there."
Except for no one that's riding with them shoots arrows at the people that ride. Even though the people are 50 feet away from them, no one except for Mulan shoots an arrow at them.
They're all a bunch of fuckboys that aren't ready for war, and she proved that she is by going up the mountain.
Sure.
When you are riding at the speed of a horse and you shoot an arrow at the speed of a horse, it just stays right next to you, so it would have been useless.
Yeah.
That's not accurate at all. It would be the speed of the horse plus the arrow.
You shoot an arrow that goes constantly at like 15 miles per hour.
It would hit the floor.
Nick, do you want to rank the abs that we saw in this movie? There was the one scene.
I think what we should do is it a wig?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. Wigging that with Scarpino.
Why did they put her father, and I'm blanking on the actor's name. Is first off, if I'm not mistaken, he was in Arrival and he was great in that. He's great in everything I've seen him in before, but the wig that they put this poor guy in just sticks out so badly. Like, put a hat on it or something. I don't know. I know they wanted him to look a little bit. I know they wanted him to be. I mean, again, they're trying to tug on some of the nostalgia, so they want that imagery, and they want to be, I assume, culturally as true to that culture that time as possible. It was interesting that, by the way, Kevin, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but his last name was Khan. And so in the first one, they were fighting the Huns, right?
Right.
And this one, if he's a Khan, doesn't that make him a Mongol?
Wait, weren't the...
No, so the first ones, I think I was mistaken last week when I talked about he was fighting, I think Shen Yu was a Hun, which would have put it in a vastly different, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought he was still Khan.
As described by the song.
The song, yeah.
You're right. So in this one, his name is...
The Rorin Cognate was a tribal confederation and later state founded by a people of Proto-Mongolic origin.
Okay, so it is pre-Mongol.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just thought that was an interesting choice. I don't know shit about
Mongolian people.
I think they were precursors. That was based on me googling this for 1 second. If you want to verify that, that's totally fine.
That's what I'm saying too. Where it's the same region, and also there was no Great Wall of China this time. Did you see that? Instead,
that's right, because they kept attacking garrisons.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. Anyway, sorry, we're getting muddled in my total understanding of Chinese history. So sorry about that.
Well, my understanding of syllables is the reason that "I'll Make a Man Out of You" was taken away was they couldn't do it because Roran has more syllables than Huns, so they couldn't say to defeat the Huns.
It just didn't.
Nobody take him seriously. He's joking right now, and he's hurting everyone's feelings.
But why, Tim? If you go at the exact speed of the arrow, does it just float next to you when you launch it? That's the real question.
Tim, it doesn't.
Gotta go fast, dude. Sonic the Hedgehog. How many syllables
podcast
are in the middle, Andy?
Is it a wig? If you're not poetic, no need to fret it.
Just
Haikus
broke
don't
Andy.
need to rhyme. I wanted to talk about the scene where the hot guy was at the river because his wig was all fucked up. He was like there was clearly like part of his like wig that was not, because all of them had like incredible hairlines, right?
The wigs, yeah, they always do.
But
God forbid they put a wig on someone who's bald, and it looks bald.
hot guy at the lake when they were doing the skinny dipping scene. There's a part like right here that was just completely like, it felt like it was a chunk that was missing of wig, and it just really threw me off.
Did the abs do anything for you?
No, he's definitely
Were
looked
they
great.
born in labs? Now it's time to rank those abs.
Welcome back to Rank Those Abs, ladies and gentlemen, with Nick Scarpino, Andy Cortez, Kevin Coelho, Joey Noel. I'm looping you into this fucking mess as well as Tim Gettys. I didn't actually like. They didn't spike my curiosity at all. I thought the guy was very fit. I was just more, I think, a little bit more distracted by the overall plot or lack thereof, dare I say.
He had a good chest. He had a good chest.
It was nice.
He's a good
I
looking guy.
do
Good
need
back.
to say something to everyone here,
Oh no.
real quick. Joey, I'm sorry. I have to do it.
Oh man.
Normally, this is a Studio Ghibli in review bit that we do.
Hot
Joey
dad.
ranking the dads. If you guys want to know what Joey's ranking of this dad is, it is simply, and I quote, "I would not fuck Mulan's dad."
I heard
Okay.
him say
Sure.
this.
Fair.
Maybe 30,
Now-
maybe 30 years ago.
But let me ask you this, and I know we're going into
I don't think
uncharted
this is
territory. What about
Uh-huh.
the I think it's Donnie Yen. How do you say that guy's name? What's his
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen. What about Donnie Yen's character, the general?
He's definitely higher on the list. Honestly, I think even probably higher on the list than the not Shang Li, but that's what I'm going to call him.
He's
because
one
that's
with the
what I
chi, and the chi is with him.
Because I'll tell you one thing right now. I was attracted to Jet
good,
Li's
Andy.
character until he opened his mouth, and I was like, "Whose voice is that? What did they do
Wait,
to
I
Jet
wasn't dying
Li?"
for that, but real talk, what the fuck was that? Like,
I don't
you
know.
brought it up, and hold on, Kevin, talk.
So that was really weird. What?
What the fuck?
What happened now? God, is it doing it again?
Is it done? Did it stop?
Yeah, it's that.
What is it? What was it?
You sounded
It
like
was-
Tron. You sounded like a robot from Tron.
Yeah, it looks like
You
there's
sound
been
like
an
a
update.
transformer.
That was
Yeah, okay.
Soundwave.
yeah,
Yeah.
Soundwave. You sounded exactly like Soundwave.
All right,
That was
how many
amazing.
goddamn syllables are in the middle?
Seven syllables in
I
the
already
middle.
sang it. I already
Oh,
sang it.
okay,
review.
cool.
We didn't do it.
Did we? I thought it was
Andy,
Rank Those
you got
Dads.
Andy. You segued
You know what,
away
guys?
from it,
You can
but
go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to write your review in haiku form. We don't have too many, obviously. Actually, we only have one from Andrew Feisner, who says, okay, he's submitted about 4 of them, and I want to make sure I'm
All
choosing
right.
the right one here.
You could read all
Son of a
4
bitch.
if you want.
To go back to Nick's question to give Tim some time, I feel like
Donnie Yen is
Donnie
a good-looking man.
Yen
There it is.
is, yeah,
come on,
He's
son.
he's the
good-looking
top
boy.
of the list.
Come
out
on,
of, like,
son.
the 3 main guys, exclude. We don't count the Emperor because that's weird.
Why
when
is
he
it
steps
weird?
in and
You don't
like
like
stops
Power,
the
Joey?
sword
Because I
fight.
love Power.
No, he's not.
I'd go right
he's
for the
too,
Emperor.
He's too old. Mulan's dad also old.
He's a little
Emperor
old.
definitely too old.
Yeah.
Andrew Feisner says, not witch, warrior. Do not be slick with magic. Totally a witch.
That's amazing.
There we go. There we
That's
go.
good. Well done.
And that's it. And that's it. Now it's time to rank the Mulan movies. Does anyone think this is better than Mulan 1998?
No.
No.
I think it's better. No, but I mean, I probably should have prefaced everything with this. If you haven't watched last week's episode, I don't love the Mulan series in general. I don't like
No.
the story, but I think that if you said, Nick, you got to watch one of these again, I'd be like, please give me the 90-minute version. I want that one. That's what we're gonna do. So I would say that's number
With
the original.
with the great music, Nick. With the great
with
music.
with music. It just will say it has
Shut the
music.
Fuck it. You're a bitch. I hate you.
I don't like
Invented criticism.
I hate it when he does the thing.
Yeah.
You hate it
I-
more or less than
Kevin-
the no face sound.
Uh,
Oh, I hate that more.
Yeah, I think similar to a lot of the live action movies, like there are a lot of moments that I think are stronger, specifically plot. And I think we've seen that now with Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and Aladdin. Cinderella, never vibed with me. But
I never
Really?
liked it.
overall,
I liked it.
yeah,
Joey's
I didn't
favorite.
like it. But
Dude, I didn't even when Joey said that earlier, I didn't even know there was a Cinderella remake.
it was the first one.
I think
But,
it's.
like-
I think I just like the ones that I have less attachment to from childhood, which is why I think I like.
Which is
this
fair
one.
because you have attachment to the song and the characters and all the sidekicks and all that. And so with that, it's like I think the songs and characters and sidekicks of Mulan are stronger than the action and plot of this movie. So I ranked 98 over this one. So there you go.
Whoa.
Number
Judd
one,
Nelson.
Mulan, 1998. Yeah, Judd Nelson. Number
Judd
two, Mulan 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny in review. Like I said, next Tuesday, we're starting Batman in review with the 1966 movie.
I'm just gearing up for it, guys, because I know I got my back up against the wall and I got to fight for 89. And I just
I'm
don't want
interested.
to.
It's going to be a fun time. It's
By the
gonna
way,
be a
Tim,
fun time.
did you see what we did on the
I
Game of
heard
Greggy
what you did.
podcast?
Well,
I feel like we should. Sorry, KK podcast. I feel like we should mirror that in some way for Batman.
Oh,
best
I need to
suit?
figure out some. I think we need to rank bat suits. I think we need to rank Batmobiles. I think we need to rank villains. I think
Alfred.
we need to go a little bit all
The
out. on this.
Batmen. The
The Batmen
Batmen.
themselves.
Andy's
The
got to write a
side-
lot of
Bruce
songs.
Wayne's themselves. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Andy,
We
just
could
think
milk
songwriter.
this for
Start thinking
18
about
more
it.
episodes.
So it'll be fun. We're gonna get on that. Right now, Nick, to end this show, I ask you one question.
Yeah.
What number would you rank the 89 Batman movie of the Batman movies?
Guess
You're
what?
talking about just getting ahead of
Just
it.
gut
for next week?
punch. Give me your reaction right now. Where does
No.
89 rank?
Number one with a batarang.
You motherfucker!
So
End this
fucking
stream.
wrong.
End this stream.
So
Over